Good day and welcome to another edition of the Daily Fix. I am your usual host and presenter, Advocate Two Dockets Issue. Let me get at midday to the Senzo Meyiwa trial. The latest news that we have now is that Afriforum is also questioning the issue of the two dockets in the Meyiwa trial and investigation. You see, it has always been troubling why we have had two dockets in this matter. The one docket 636, which we see unfolding in the Pretoria High Court, which says there were intruders into that house, and the second docket 375, which was opened 5 years after docket 636 was opened in 2014 in 2019. So Afriforum has come out clearly to say that the prosecution, now the prosecution here is represented by Advocate Baloyi, that they have a hidden agenda. Whatever that agenda is at this stage is not very clear. But Afriforum has come out guns blazing to say the confusion that we are seeing in the Meyiwa trial has been brought about by the existence of two dockets. And Afriforum is saying the introduction of this second docket, mid-trial, is an irregularity, because this should not have been done during the course of the trial. The prosecution was enjoined at the beginning of the trial to disclose the existence of this other docket, and that if there are people, for instance, who are implicated in this second docket, which is 375, they should have simply have been joined to the first docket, or docket 636, and be charged together with whoever is currently being charged. Now you might ask yourself, how does Afriforum come into this? What role is Afriforum playing in the Meyiwa trial? Afriforum is a watching brief for the Meyiwa family. In other words, they play a professional oversight over the trial, and from time to time report to the Meyiwa trial or consult the Meyiwa trial about developments in the trial to ensure that everything is played by the book. Now, Harry Nell of Afriforum has come out to say the disclosure of this docket, or the bringing of this docket to the fore mid-trial, is an irregularity and has caused a lot of confusion. Now let us look back and say to ourselves, at what stage did the prosecution become aware of the existence of docket 375? Because Gerinel seems to imply that they became aware of the existence of docket 375 during the course of the trial, which is not correct, because the prosecution has always been aware of the existence of docket 375. The investigators of this matter have always been aware that there was a parallel docket with a parallel narrative, because you'll recall that immediately after Senzo was shot and killed, investigations then got underway. And there were those investigators who on the ground were saying that they just simply don't buy the theory that there had been intruders into that house. The people behind docket 375. There was then this other group of investigators who insisted that there had been intruders into that house, in spite of the overwhelming evidence that there were no intruders into that house. So the prosecution has always been aware of this, the existence of this docket. In fact, the prosecution deliberately withheld from public knowledge the existence of docket 375. Docket 375 was only disclosed to us by Malisela Tefo, and it only came up under cross-examination, indicating that, the prosecution had no intention at all of, letting us or getting, informing us that docket 375 in fact existed. Advocate Munisi, while cross-examining Gininda, cornered Gininda to admit that there was, a docket like docket 375. And this was also, dealt with at great length by Malisela Tefo, who said that, who never believed the narrative that there were intruders into that house. So here we are now with Afriforum coming to say, in fact, the confusion that we are seeing has been brought about by the prosecution with this secret agenda. Why have two dockets in respect of, one manner investigation? So here we are stuck with this situation of two dockets. But Baloyi has told that court, that in the event that they do not secure a conviction, in other words, if they don't get successful on this 636 docket, they might perhaps have a look at docket 375 and see whether they cannot go on that and see whether they will not get a conviction out of that other docket, which is a very, very strange arrangement, because, the prosecution should not be doing this. If there are people who are guilty, you don't push ahead with one docket with the hope that, well, if I fail to get a conviction, I still have another, docket up my sleeve that I will produce. It doesn't work that way. It simply throws the system into disarray and, discredits the entire justice system of South Africa. And this is what Gerinel also said. It brings the judicial system or the administration of justice into disrepute. And for this, there are only two people that have to be blamed for this. The first person that has to be blamed for this, who knew all along that there was a docket 375, was Gininda. The second person who knew that there was, even before the trial started, also was Baloyi. Both of them knew of this docket and were deliberately holding it from the court. In fact, Baloyi is on record as saying that, well, docket 375 for all intents and purposes is irrelevant. How irrelevant, one just wonders, because we cannot just take Baloyi's word that it is irrelevant. If it is irrelevant, that was for the court to determine, but he had a duty to disclose the existence of docket 375, which they never did. So there are sinister agendas here. That is why there are all these narratives that, the real people behind the killing of Senzo Meyiwa are simply being protected. They are simply being protected, they are known. You see, so that this 636 intruder theory was only intended to ensure that certain people are just protected. Right? Because why should they, admit to the existence of 375, which they are just holding back And that lame duck excuse by Baloyi that in the event that they don't get a conviction in 636, they might resort to 375 is simply untenable and cannot be justified under any circumstances. So there's a lot of dubious things about the Senzome, the Senzome trial and investigation. Multiple dockets hidden away from public scrutiny by none other than Gininda and Baloyi. So these are the two gentlemen who are responsible for having put us in this mess that we see ourselves in. Thank you for watching this video, and please have a nice day.